people are getting more comfortable with the idea of having their data in the cloud. We see announcements from Apple and Microsoft and all these other people who are promoting cloud services now aggressively as helping break down the resistance of the average person to having their data in the cloud.
You have big ideas. Cloud computing is a better way to run your business. Instead of running your apps yourself, they run on a shared data center. You just plug in, like a utility. This makes it fast to get started and it costs less. It's like Gmail compared to Microsoft Exchange. With Gmail, do you need servers and storage? No. Do you need a technical team to keep it up and running? No. Do you have to do upgrades? No. When you use any app that runs in the cloud, you just log in, customize it, and start using it. That's the power of cloud computing.
There are two important ways of looking at the cloud. One is looking at the cloud as a computing architecture, as a way of aggregating resources together to achieve much greater levels of efficiency and scalability and more flexible management. There's another way of looking at the cloud, which is as a service. In other words, the opportunity to utilize IT resources that are provided by an external vendor. Both are very important aspects of the cloud. And we think that these two varieties of cloud, internal and external, actually need to work together. That it's not going to be a black and white world. We'll see internal clouds and external clouds. And in particular, we at VMware are working with our enterprise customers and our service provider customers to allow them to implement common infrastructure and common management to allow people to have that choice of being able to implement the internal cloud, run workloads there, and take advantage of the external cloud.
As a market leader in external cloud and a web-based software maker, Salesforce.com has also been catering consumers' needs by letting them build cloud applications on new platforms.
Platforms are changing too. People are building applications, used to build them in Microsoft technologies or Java or .NET, C#. Now you're building them in the cloud, and you're building on these new cloud platforms, and you're not building them for Windows. Where is Windows on there? People are not building those applications today. The startups that are coming out are not choosing these other platforms. They're choosing Facebook, iOS, Android, mobility, these new platforms.
Entrepreneurs from Silicon Valley agreed with Harry's points and said cloud computing gives more businesses more leverage in IT services by reducing costs and enabling innovation.
When people bring in these iPads and different devices and things, the other thing that's really interesting is that it used to be that IT would be able to basically go to Microsoft and just get a whole stack. Get everything from the servers to the databases to the operating system to the software seats on the clients and everything, and they'd be done essentially. And Microsoft would have absolute control over that IT program at just any given company. But now you have an environment where you have iPads, you have Google Apps involved, you have all sorts of different technologies kind of playing into the climate where, and that's one of those things that's very disruptive and a huge opportunity for startups.
Right, so think about this, they have a data mart that nobody could afford to own or keep themselves. But now what's happening is that the applications are coming into that cloud to be next to that data mart. Right, so you're talking about data centricity, I think. So what does that mean now if you're a healthcare provider and you have healthcare records and you want to do weather modeling or atmospheric modeling? There's a database now that you might have access to. So there might be this notion of special purpose clouds.
For countries in other parts of the world, opportunities also abound in the cloud industry.
When we get to the point where the infrastructure of the cloud computing is getting so expensive, no VC with their right mind, and maybe except for the last space, right, to really invest any new company in that. And where can you do it? I think China is one. If they can pump tens of billions of dollars to build a highway, railway, they will build it.
As it develops, you're not subject to kind of what I'll call the legacy infrastructure that some other countries have. Right? China probably isn't suffering from that, or at least in 5 years, it's going to be completely the opposite. Right? Well, every company in its own right mind in China who won't own any infrastructure. They're not bogged down by that legacy. And it makes for potentially explosive scaling and growth.
Iker Hrafnsson is co-founder of Green Cloud Company in Iceland, which is powered by renewable geothermal and hydropower energy. He said Iceland is uniquely positioned to help foster green cloud computing services because it has one of the best places to get clean energy in the world.
And Green Cloud is one of those companies that are leaning up. So perhaps public compute clouds and the new data center industry will be the biggest export of Iceland. It remains to be seen, but I certainly hope so. Because that's kind of the core of what we are doing as a company differently from others. And I'm pointing out there are two of our data centers there. We don't actually own data centers. We chose to rent space and to try to grow organically.